Hello everyone, welcome back to another session from IT Learn. This is Karthik here. Team, this specific training I'm planning for about 1 week. So let me write a few points on that. It's a 1 week training. Then the JPAC members can go into a 1 to 2 weeks project. And then you are an AnyAUT certified tester. So that is the roadmap team for us. Who is the AnyAUT certified tester? We will talk about it very briefly. And we will also go forward with learning a lot of things on the way. So team, primarily, I'll give a very basic intro and a demo run on AnyAUT. And we will replicate or practice the same at your end. We will also talk about what is the SDLC process in general as we go along, team. These are all the topics that we will be covering. We want to talk about where does coding, QA, CI/CD, and any terms you don't know, that is fine, team. We will know these as we go along. We'll go deeper into them. Where does coding, QA, CI/CD, in fact, starting from Rex, come in. Then we're going to talk about specifically when we look at AnyAUT as a tool, we need to learn HTML. We need to get a good idea of CSS. We need to understand XPath, which is also element identification. And this depends on how much time and energy you can spend, team. You need to understand Java because what it does overall and how it works. And this specific one, API, we talk about GitHub, we talk about Jenkins. So all this stuff go into a AnyAUT certified developer. So this is a different program altogether. So we will be focusing a lot in this directions and the basic of JavaScript too. As we go along, I'll try and keep this session a lot of fun. I would love to know who the audience is first before I go forward. Couple of quick poll questions. Today is the first session. So any questions that you have during the live program, everyone, please put it in the chat that you have or the question section in the GoToWebinar. We'll be creating a Skype group for all the team members to interact. So I'll share that briefly. You can all join Skype team. There was the other option of using Slack, but we felt, okay, let's kind of do that a little later. But let's work with Skype. Skype will help us to better communicate, better inform, share our progress, and so on with entire team. So this will be very interactive for us. Okay, a few poll questions. Anyone having any other questions? Meanwhile, not a bad time to start asking. This one is the most important one, team, the one that's appearing on your screen right now. How much do you know about AnyAUT? So the way I'm going to distribute this tool, team, is we will do these 3 steps mostly in today's session. The options that you have is also played a little. The reason is, believe me, it's a lot of fun to play with these automation tools, especially if you're staying home and want to learn new things, but at the same time want to have some fun around it. Automation is a good one. So team, I've just got about half of you voting in. Click on your screen. I need participation from everyone. Go to webinar, gives us that information of who's participating, who's not. And we would give the certifications only based on that. 1 week training for certification of training need to show activity. You need to show activity. Right from how much time you're watching the screen to how you're interacting in the Skype group with other team members like you is very critical. I've got 90% of the votes in, so I can close this poll and share it with you all. 95% is there. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. So I'll start with the top. I'm little, in fact, surprised that very few of you, or rather 0% said very well. As an AnyAUT certified, AnyAUT as a tool, but played a little bit. I think most of you, almost 60%, are coming there. The remaining 40% have heard of it or have not tried on it. So team, I want you all to focus on these steps and try this along with me. Okay, let me hide this now. One more poll question if you're all okay. They're all related to this. Current skill level. Let's look at this team. So this basically gives me an idea of where you are, and it also tells you how the group is. Like the earlier poll, you saw that over 40% are seeing AnyAUT for the first time. So that's a good number for us, which basically tells me I can go take it slowly and so on. What is my intent also I want to mention to you. For this training. So while you're taking the poll, I'm writing down a couple of notes. Build a great pool of certified ACT projects. I've got 84% votes in. Can I get the remaining couple of you also to finish this? All right, 89%. Maybe one more individual is remaining. So what's your current skill level? Let me explain what it is. Beginner is someone who's got no experience in anything in IT, maybe just training here and there. Manual QA, primarily you worked or know testing. Selenium WebDriver or Java is a skill that you require behind this team. And then there is the automation frameworks. So it's going in a hierarchy, beginner being the beginning level, SDET being the top level. And I would love to see the same results. I'm closing this poll and sharing these with you all. Can you see the results, everyone? So 0% SDET right now, team. And I'm sure a few of you are almost there, but maybe hesitating to put it. But the next time this poll runs in the next 2 weeks, I would love to see more changing. So beginners, welcome. We're going to keep things very relevant to how things happen, what we will do. At this point, can you see my screen back now, everyone? I think so, right? Okay. So intent for this training. So what is our intent, team? We want to build a good pool of AnyAUT certified testers to work on projects that are there currently or in the future. Some could be going into promote to AnyAUT ACD and work in the AnyAUT lab. AnyAUT lab team is a lot of initiatives that we want to bring in. We put it in a pipeline. We try and achieve one after the other. We do coding together as a team. It's very, very interesting to observe how things are done. This platform gives you that ability to keep going on. Okay. So before I talk about applications and what SDLC and so on, team, the boring stuff which we have heard randomly and so on for ages. Let's go and play around with AnyAUT. What I want you to do, all of you right now, is visit AnyAUT.com, please, on your screens. And anyone who's not able to perform the actions that I'm saying, please let me know. So that's the first one. I'm copying this. I'm also putting the notes. Go to AnyAUT.com. What is the next step I want you to do, team? Are you all with me? Can I get a yes or no in the chat? In the meanwhile, the next step is click on the download desktop app. You see that icon there, everyone? This specific one hosts the latest version of AnyAUT. So you want to download this team. Now, download desktop app. This is the latest version of AnyAUT Excel Runner. I will talk about what these are, team, as we go along. Now, latest version of AnyAUT Excel Runner built using Java, Selenium, frameworks, and so on. So a lot of interesting things that you'll see. The third one is once downloaded, it should be, okay, let me click on it. It should be starting. Oh, it actually takes us to the Google Drive. Takes us to the Google Drive. And once it takes me to the Google Drive here, I'll click on this download button on the top right hand corner. Click on the download link / button. Are you all with me? Following along? Almost able to replicate? Click on the download link button on the top right corner of the page. What do I do next? So it says click on download anyway. What happens when we click on download anyway? It should be downloading about 137 MB zip file. So I'll copy this. So it's not scanning for viruses. I'm writing down this details. So it's very, very, very easy, team, for us to insert a virus into this whole process. And especially with something like, automation, there is a lot you could do, which is not the ethical. So hence, it wants us to be sure. So this is the file. Should get downloaded to our local machine. Yes, everyone so far? Almost there? Where is it now? It should be in maybe my downloads. So I'm going to copy this team. I've created a folder in C drive called AnyAUT Excel Runner. See? Now, what you will do is unzip to a local folder. And team, most of the chat or conversation that you're doing in the question section is directly with me. No one else sees it, so it's private. So you can be very, very explicit and say, I don't know how to unzip. I don't know how to open this drive, or so on. Please feel free to ask me questions, because I may assume everything, but you can give me that feedback. Wherever you stuck, please let me know. A couple of more steps are waiting. How do we unzip to a local folder? So I copied that file that came in download. I'll create a new folder here. So let's call it new, right click, new folder. Are you all comfortable with this? Anyone who's not comfortable with Windows or a Mac OS in creating this stuff? So I created one, ting. Let me open this folder. In this, there is already a pre-existing folder called demo. I won't bother about that, but I'll paste whatever I downloaded. Remember that 167 MB thing, it's actually 140, 392 kilobytes. Yeah. And I'm going to unzip team. If you have an unzip software, very well. If you do not, right click on it and say, make sure you're right clicking on the file and say open with Windows Explorer. Everyone, open with Windows Explorer. So this WinZip file or the .zip version that is there, if possible, it will show it like this. Okay, so now this is the folder. I'll copy this entire thing. If you double click this folder, you would see the structure, everyone. I'll get into the depth later. So if you double click it, this is what you should see, a bunch of few files, about 20 items, not too bad. But if I go back to that, it's just one folder. I'll copy that, go back here and put it here. So I'm copying the unzipped version. So your file folder, I'll call this as a file folder, initially was maybe having 500 files, and these files would not matter. How do I undo this? It is already spent to spend. I'm talking about the zip unzip process. So I have a file folder, and this is maybe, let us say, 100 MB. We'll have a lot of things. So when I zip it or compress it, okay, all this file folder with a lot of files in it came as .1 file called .zip, whatever XYZ. And now that 100 MB became 50 MB. Saved file size. It also organized everything into one file to share. It's hard sometimes to share a folder, everyone. So we need to zip it and share that folder. Okay, here you go. Instead of sharing an entire file folder, we're sharing one thing. Now that is zipped out here. So when I want to get it back to the original place where it was, what I do is I perform the unzip. Okay, let's decompress now and let us see the file. So it should get me back this original. That is exactly what we did. So in our Google Drive was the zipped version of it. We unzipped it and we downloaded it back here. Sorry, we downloaded it, then we unzipped. Now my folder would look like this. So everyone should be able to see, I think, 20 items so far in their end. Can you please confirm if you've all come here? Who can share the screen and show me that, yes, I have it here so far? To share your screen or to be able to speak in, just raise your hand. I'll make you the presenter. So what we are doing is slowly helping you build. This is the easiest way to get a software team. You're just going to the website, AnyAUT.com, and you're looking for download desktop app, getting the zip version, unzipping it. Okay, everyone is able to view it? Yes, no. I have to ask a poll question, is it? Let's get ready for execution. Now comes the execution portion. Unzip to look. Practice the same at your end. So 20 files to start with. Double click and open. What is the name of this file? AAXLV 1.4 dot jar, I believe. So this is basically, this is the heart of the tool. It, or heart or brain, whatever. Core component. It helps us to start execution. Execution all the way to the end. So what am I saying now, team? In this folder, all you need to do is double click this. This version is a demo for up to 500 test steps. Demo is for up to 500 test steps. Now we'll talk about these test steps, everyone. Now, when we double click, you will see something called as the AnyAUT Excel desktop UI. You should see the AnyAUT Excel desktop UI opening, and that will look like this. Let's put that image. I think, can anyone add screenshots to this folder? It will be good. That's all. I'll give you access to this team, but we need to add screenshots. So this is what it will look. I want you all to just try and do an execute automation test as is. Let me see what is there in that. Then we will give me 1 second. I just want to see what is here. What does it do? I hope it has the right credentials. Too many tests. Okay, it has too many tests. Just select. I'm just adding a few tips. Oh, enable editing. I'll explain all this to you in a minute, but I'm just seeing the demo that we created. And all this, you're just going to play around right now, team, the same way. But I don't want too many. I just have 3 test cases right now. Let me change that. So share. At this time, team, how do I share this Excel with you all? Here. I'm giving you, I know you're almost waiting. I don't know how many of you already clicked that execute also. Let's try and use this Excel if it's fine, everyone. So I'm going to share this folder and I will put it in the chat. Is everyone able to now go to this folder and download that Google Drive link? But demo_small.xls will come. That's clear. At this point, let me take the regular one so it's not getting affected. It's demo_ LinkedIn also. We also upload that. I'm going back to the original demo.xls team. So what I'll do is I'll quickly delete this old version that was there. It's not going to delete because this is open. Let's redo it from the. So all I have right now is this zip file. So I'll right click and say open with Windows Explorer. Open that, copy this entire folder as is, put it back here. So now this is the one. The folder of file in it is open and not open. No, nothing is open. Yes, should come up with the same folder structure now. We went back a few steps, team. It didn't. I don't know what it did. Give me a second. Let's try and fine tune this. I only wanted to change that Excel because it may be too large to execute. Let's see. Drive. AnyAUT. Say run now. See, nothing is here. I don't know why it didn't get anything. How come none of you are facing the same issues? Hopefully that's good for us all, right? So I can copy this and I'll paste it here. It's copying 173 items. So by this time, at least, are you all connected to the Google Drive team where I'm putting all the details? It's coming up. It's almost being finished. So I just repeated the same step. It was just a simple download the zip and put it into a folder. The demo.xls is large, but let us use to execute and see if it is working. I'm gonna do the same now. So I'm here in my folder as is. I'm not changing anything. Double click and hit on execute automation test. You'll see that that window got minimized and now there are more folders that will start getting added to your folder structure. So there are new folders getting added at this point. You would also notice browser getting opened up one after the other and it will try and do a certain steps on its own. Keep your eyes on the visual of it, what it is doing. So primarily, just as the gist of this, it is running certain predefined steps on a given application, for example, called AnyAUT on Chrome, and it also wants to maybe do the same on a Firefox browser. And this is happening without a human intervention. And while this is happening, there are a lot of steps that could be going right or wrong. AnyAUT will continue to capture every possible detail of these at the back. So that's just the tool as of now. So it is all about how can we build more such, almost automated walkthrough or a process. And why must we build such a thing? So let's talk about this automation in general and how this tool behaves. So now it's on Firefox team. It is trying to replicate the same at both the ends. Quick question to everyone. Are you able to execute the tests? So have you downloaded AnyAUT? That's the first question. So while the test is happening at your end, can you help me with these couple of poll questions, everyone? Poll questions. I've got about 50% votes in. So I've got about almost all votes in. There are about 20% so far who has not downloaded. I'm assuming you may want to do it at a later point in time. Please do download at your end. It becomes important. So I'm going to close this, everyone. Did not get all the votes from all of you on this, so I'm closing it. This is about, do you download AnyAUT or not? So closed and share. So almost part of you haven't downloaded, so look at it and download when you can. I'm going to hide it and back to my UI and what's happening. Yeah, if you don't have Firefox installed, it'll throw up error, but it'll move on to the next scenario. In the same version, it will take a little bit time for the executions. Next version, it will move on immediately. So if there's an issue with one scenario or one browser or anything, it will try and go on to the next. Right, team? So one more poll. I know it's taking a little bit time, but it's good to look at this. How much more time? Let's say it should. 7 scenarios. Maybe it'll take us 10 minutes. The application that it is running on is the UI we will talk about of AnyAUT later. You don't have to worry about what you're seeing on the screen. It is just a sample one. But what is very important for you to note are those highlight colors that you see on the application. Those highlights are basically saying what element we're working on. If it goes wrong, then it shows red. If it goes right, then it shows green. Especially when you want to text, verify, okay, do I see this image? Do I see this text? Do I see this field? For all that will show it as a green one. Test is executing in Firefox. So did you see that highlight that happened for all the sub menu items? So once again, team, for those of you little new to it, think of it as a tool, just as something to play around with. We will get into more interesting things based on it. Yeah, credentials could be wrong, team. What you need to do is for this, make your own credentials on AnyAUT.com. So that is important. I'll write this also. Go to AnyAUT. And I don't like to interrupt the test too much, team, but that's fine. And create a free account to test. So that way you can replace. Don't worry, there are some that does not require anything. Application login and so on. I'm just waiting for this first test to finish, and I also want to see who wants to show the same on their machines. Can I see a few hands raised? I will show you the results at my end, and if you are executing, then I want to show the same results at your end. Who would love to show, please? Very casual. It's more of, okay, this is what I see. Give us a minute, team. Once I finish this execution, we'll get into it. I want also the beginners who have been maybe attending this for the first time as a webinar to raise your hand on GoToWebinar. I'll make you a presenter. You can share your screen and show us. We'll be done soon, team, after this. I just want you to get started, play around with it. I'll share a few more Excel sheets on this. We're almost there. So let me finish that other poll in the meanwhile. Launch. And it's kind of repetitive, but it's the same questions, team. Where are we on the status of any execution, launching, and so on? So here is what has happened, team. Number one, the few more items that came in. Items are nothing but few folders like log, results, and test out. When we do an execution using our AnyAUT tool, the results folder will be populated. Please finish your poll so I can close it and share the screen back. Team, only 40% of you have voted. Can I get everyone? 50. Okay, increasing. Once it touches 80, I will close it. Click it on your screen, team, the option. Sure. The steps about AnyAUT are there in the same Google Drive folder, team. So the one I shared with you as the document. So anything that I'm doing in the sessions will be here as well. All right. So 1 second. Sharing, closing the poll, and sharing the result. Let's look at it. So not downloaded, downloaded but not executed, almost 69% there. So please do this offline. 13% executed have issues. Almost 20% executed works. So good. Let me hide that. Where is that? So the Google Drive that I shared will start to have all the documentation of what we do. Okay. So at this point, I hope you all can see my screen. So unlike the original demo folder that we unzipped, the 3 new subfolders came. For every test that we run, if you go into results, it will create a test run folder with this date and timestamp. Okay. So that tells us, okay, this is the test I ran. You can always change it during execution. Lot of changes that you can make, team. We're not worried about it. But if you double click this, you would see 4 different files. One is a screenshots folder. will contain a lot of things. This whole folder contains data of execution. What happened? Tell me what happened. Now, this report.html is an extent report demo version that is there, team, that helps us to get a great view of what happened overall. So it tells me that in that Excel sheet, demo whatever we selected, which we don't have too much idea about right now, what are all these sheets, we will go through them. The fact that the sheet had a few tests aligned and each one is expected to run or pass and fail. So that was before the execution. Now, after the execution comes our report. It tells me at an every step level what happened. Started with Chrome, then went to Firefox and so on. And then I also see that there's one test scenario that failed. I can go specifically and look at where it failed, why it failed, how did that application look at that point in time, and be able to decide what is right or wrong. So that's predominantly what this tool does. I can then go have a deeper look. Oh, it took 8 minutes, 10 seconds for the overall execution. It executed about 262 test steps. These are the important one, team. This is a number which is overall not relevant for us, but this number is. It also tells me what percentage passed and failed. This gives us a great insight into how the execution happened. Now the same execution, I can repeat it onto different applications by just changing the Excel file that it's pointing to. So let's take this demo LinkedIn QA on air. I don't know what this had, but I'll just copy it. I do know. I don't know what exactly they're pointing to. I'll put them here. And let's just see this. So this demo underscore LinkedIn. There's a few tests here. See, all of them written. And it says the test data set is Edge. In mine, I don't think I have Edge right now. So what I will do, let's see. Edge. So I'll change this. What are these changes? I'll explain to you. Only on one browser, Chrome. That's my demo underscore LinkedIn. The next one is demo underscore QA on. So two more Excel sheets that I want to show the execution happening at the back end, while the team members who have executed the previous one will show us what happened. So just two test cases seems to be there on this. It's got a couple of steps into it. And yeah, so that's the other two Excels. Now look at what I'm doing, just as a variation to it. I'm going to launch that executable jar. So this is one. I'm going to relaunch this again as another side version. So I can have as much as my system take to do parallel execution. And right now it is just doing, I'll say this is for that LinkedIn, what we have. And let's make sure that we select that specific one. Demo underscore LinkedIn. Then this I'll say is another application called QA on air. And the Excel for that I'm choosing through this. Everyone following, team, what I'm doing is QA on air. Let's do a third one. In the third one, I'll take my demo and I'll save this as a small, only execute a couple of them in it. So I have so many test cases. I'll just say no. The reason we have to enable this editing team is a lot of times we don't know the source of where it is coming. You want to be sure that the macros, security issues. So a lot of things will come into place. I'll just say no to all of these. And these, I can always say this one I only want to run on Firefox, this I want to do only on Chrome, and maybe this login. So 3 test cases. So I'm selecting everything from this end, and in the sense, Excel. What to do, how to do. Who wrote those Excels? How did it come? That's a different thing. That's where we work on a team basis. So I have 2 versions of AnyAUT parallelly ready for execution. I'm opening a 3rd version. This is primarily going to be the tool that we will get trained on. So make sure you either change it here if you know the exact name, or select it using browse. Don't worry about the browser timeout. If your network is slow, increase it to 10 seconds. So executing this, this other one, this, and executing the 3rd one. So at this point, there are primarily 1, do you see on the desktop, 2, 3 getting executed parallelly. Each version has its own, each one has its own applications that it is working on, that it will navigate to, or it's going to perform any tasks. This is on LinkedIn. This will go to another application called QA on Air, and so on. What is important for us is that this tool called AnyAUT will do those executions. I don't need to keep my eyes there. If I just go to this results folder, I can constantly see how my results are coming in. So that is the process for us. Okay, so this test is running parallelly, and since this is running parallelly, the largest, so let's say this XYZ, 3 executions running parallelly. X takes 5 minutes, Y takes 6 minutes, Z takes 8 minutes. So since they're running parallelly, how long will it take for all of them to finish? 5, 6, and 8, right? They'll run parallelly, so it will be the longest thread. 8. If it is together, then we'll say 5 plus 6, 14 plus 5, 19 minutes to run. Okay, so this is more of getting started as an end user of AnyAUT, very layman. We will now get into the little nitty-gritties. But before that, I want to make the members presenters. I had 2 hands raised, 3 hands raised. I've got few. Can I get the hands raised again, please? Just want to see your screen and look at how the results are. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Karthik. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, please. So we can see your screen. Oh, you're executing the same at your end also?
Yes, Karthik.
Okay. I was actually thinking, am I seeing my screen or your screen for a while? Yes, please.
So it's still running. You want me to go here?
Let's look at your Windows Explorer. Yeah. Okay. Just a caution, team, letting you know. So when you run 2 parallel tests at the same time and they have the same date and time stamp, it will have an issue. So we can change it whenever we are doing it like that, or we can program it also. But now that's okay. See, 1221, 1222. So that way we miss that. Otherwise, we can change it. Shall we see the first run?
Sure. Yes, Karthik.
And what is also important is if I give the same Excel to 10 of us, then I'm expecting to see the similar results from all the 10 of us. So if we're seeing different results, then there could be a reason for it. So now, for example, yes, would you know why this is having all failures compared to ours? Go to the dashboard in this extent report where it will show number of failures.
Okay.
I can add below that. I can just below that. Yes. Okay. So it does not mean that everything failed. Though in the looking at the other display, go back to the previous one, step test case wise display. See here, if I look at it, it says, oh, everything failed, man. Something totally wrong. But when I go to the other dashboard, it'll tell me that, listen, some steps fail and not everything failed. So we'll have to go deeper. So here, it looks like exactly the same situation that we faced, that was asked in a question by one of the participants. What if I don't have a Firefox browser? So maybe it's your Firefox that is not existing. So
yes.
Yeah, what are the options then? Either download Firefox, or in that spreadsheet we have to take Firefox out.
Do you want me to do it now, Karthik?
Sure, no, you can do it later. That's fine. Okay, so it's just getting your browser into the system, and it should be good.
Okay.
You want to show anything else in mind? What's happening to this? The other test, they're executing, correct?
Yeah, they're still executing.
Okay, very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik.
Thank you. I'll make Subhashni presenter.
Hey Karthik, are you able to see my screen?
Not yet. Not yet, Subhashni.
I just gave the permission, but
Mm-hmm.
can you share me one more time, Karthik?
Yes. Not able to present it again. 1 second. And my tests are running in parallel, so it's always taking over my mouse. Now I can see.
Okay. So I run the two tests to Excel. One is the demo.small and demo.excel. Actually, this is the one. The first one, demo.excel, I got some error.
So this is the regular demo, correct?
Yes, Karthik. The other one you showed the demo.small Excel, I got 100% execution result. This one I seen a couple of error. I think log into AnyAUT Excel.
So yes, now let's observe this. Very important. Can you maximize this browser for me once? So test case login validation. Go to the top of this page. Start from step 1. And click on step 1. So here, yes, please, on the right side. Logging into the AnyAUT. Click on the step. Yes. So it's opening browser. That's a keyword. And we're saying Chrome. Do you see those two words there? So that is the ones which are passing. Now, if you keep scrolling down slowly, you'll see number 1, 2, 3. How many steps are there? The total, keep going. Okay. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wait there at 14. So at 14, you closed the browser. It's saying brewer, it's supposed to be browser. You closed the browser that you opened. So your current scenarios are running on Chrome, and it is also doing it on Firefox. Okay. So the second one, it is going to Firefox.
Firefox, yes.
Find Firefox on your machine. And that is why maybe it is giving this issue. So now look at the second test case. I don't know why it is all pass. And few greens that you'd see are like step wait for the page to load. There's no issue in that. It was just waiting. So it was a hard wait. So it didn't have anything to do with the application itself. So that's why it shows green. But if the browser itself did not happen, then the remaining test case is pretty much useless.
Okay. So there is an issue with the Firefox, right, Karthik?
Looks like. So while it shows us that error, OpenQSLE, no such session exception, it's not started that open browser. So look at your Firefox once. If Firefox is there on your machine, it must run. Is it there, Firefox? Do you see?
Yes, Karthik. But you asked me to, run a different Excel. Maybe I close the Firefox and then I try to execute the demo.small Excel. I think that's why it got some interruption happen. It got failed, I think.
Okay. Because even if you're doing anything on the side, the test should not get interrupted. That is the idea of it. So, but try it again and let me know.
Okay, sure, Karthik. This one, the next one is, I can see this one demo.small Excel. I got 100% result.
And this is what it has Firefox also on this.
Yes, Karthik.
13, 14. See, now this also is working. So this seems to be working. So
Yes, it's working fine.
Original one also and see. And look at the name in that. In the Excel sheet, look at the test data name. Is it correctly written as Firefox? So just focus on the demo right now, team. Make sure that is working for Chrome and Firefox. All right. Thank you, Vashni.
Thanks, Karthik. Yep.
Kumara, I made you the presenter. Is it Shiva then? How do you make your name? Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Karthik.
Do I call you Kumar or Shiva?
Shiva, you can.
Okay. Shiva, please. So you've downloaded and you've ran the execution. Is it Shiva?
Yes.
Okay. And let's look at, show me any of the results that you've executed. So some of you who do not know what is software testing, what are we doing, this may not make full sense, and that is okay. We are only looking at, oh, if I put an Excel to it, correct Excel, it should be doing a good execution for us. That's it. Simple and clear. Yes, Shiva. Let's go. You want to do an execution, you're saying, or? You can hear me, correct, Shiva? I think I lost Shiva's audio. And the screen froze as well. Are you there, Shiva? He's offline. Sorry, team. If he comes back online, then anyone else wants to show me, please. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. It's just what is happening here. Because what we will do further will be interesting to identify, oh, this application was built like this. This is how we following a process and so on. No, I don't hear anything. Can I be the presenter back again? Let's see what else we can do. Click and make presenter. Show my screen. All right. So executions were happening, team, and while the execution were happening, LinkedIn was trying to see, hey, is a security reason. Why is a user trying to log in multiple times from the same machine location or from different IPs? It's like a red flag alert that's been put. Okay, back to our whole process team. So what is important for us is at this point, get a fair idea of this process and what we're trying to do in the whole thing. So, can I have everyone go on mute, please? So, team, we're talking about information technology. And within information technology, the biggest things that we do are applications. Now, applications can be multiple types. There are applications like the ones that we see on our cell phones, smartphones, like your WhatsApp or Twitter and so on, that you download and you use on your systems and so on. Applications that are there web-based, like your gmail.com, or you go to a news channel, or even let's say Amazon and so on. A lot of web-based approach. And then there are large applications like enterprise resource planning, like SAP, Oracle, and so on. Now, all this is primarily dependent on who are the users. Okay. Now, smartphones, even banks would have a smartphone app. It's not always that only kids will use smartphones or devices. So even Amazon has a smartphone app. But where do they use, how do they use these devices becomes important. So depending on their need, an ERP is basically not every human being is using an ERP directly, but you'll see that a lot of large organizations as companies use them consistently. So applications are nothing but that set of software programs, tools that help us to solve a specific purpose. Specific purpose, which can be as simple as, hey, I want to send a message from one user to the other, or I want to have them talk to each other, or I want them to be able to send an email one to the other, or they will be able to send a file format or a purchase order from one to the other. So how humans interact with each other using these applications is very important. And all this is happening with humans in place. Most of it is about end users, who are the humans, what, and so on. Now, sometimes what happens is these things also want to talk to each other within the applications and so on. How do they talk? Humans to human, we use English or we use languages of these tools. How do applications to applications talk to each other? That comes under application programming interface. How do each application communicate to each other? Now, so this being said, your application can be developed, whatever be it, in Java, in Python, in C#, it could be in VB script, it could be in PHP, it could be Ruby on Rails, it could be tools like WordPress, you add e-commerce to it. And there's so many ways to develop them. So once you develop it, then you know, oh, you know what, this is developed. Let us get that released to the users. So this process happens. So let's understand that in a little different method. Do I make sense, everyone? What I'm saying? It should be something even a beginner should understand as a how regular IT industry is working for us. So in here, new folder, ACP. So the last one that I want to mention here, team, is the fact that all the content that we are talking about, how interaction is happening between users or between applications and all that, is all built about data in mind. Without data, there is no way we can communicate. So your information technology is helping to better process, manage, communicate, use data for decision making and so on. So when we look at so many applications, then we come to how do we build one specific application. Okay? Any application basically, team, is nothing but a bunch of things that the user can do. And in software or IT, we talk about UI or user experience. User interface is what the user sees, and user experience becomes how the user feels while using. Does the user feel happy about it, or there are certain recommendations? Is there a better way to fill this form? Does it have to be so unhelpful? Can the application be much more smart? So here comes your logo, then here comes login, sign up, a bunch of things, assuming this is a web application. Okay? And you may have a video out here, and let us have product 1, product 2, product 3. That's a page. Now, every page that we build accordingly becomes important. Let's say this is 2 pages now. There's page 1 and page 2, only 2 pages in an application. Now the user clicks on product 1, comes to this page, and product 1 is there, and there's buy, or there's product 2 and buy, product 3, that's it. Maybe a page 3, that's it. Thank you. All right. Now, here can be the simplest way to start an e-commerce store. Let's say I want to sit at home and sell 3 products. The product could be, I don't know. Give me some ideas, team. What products can we sell sitting at home? And the reason this is important is, what does the user do in this case? So the user can come here, just click on this video and come out. The user may come here, click on product 1, finish this and do this. So look at the possibilities of what the user can do. In a sample application. The user's story with the app. I'm using short forms. So the first one, the user very nicely visits, watches video, visits, buys P1, visits, buys P2, visits, buys P2. Now, this is primarily my story team. All you have to do is tell me what is P1, P2, P3. I can put this into anything. Does it talk about everything, Tim? No. Okay, where is login here? Also, they have to log in. Assume that login sign up are only one. So visits login by P1, visit login by P2, visits login, I should say logs in, but login by P3. So this becomes story. Look at this part of it. Are you all with me? Am I making sense? Any questions? Let me know, please. Now, so look at how we're trying to build these applications. So all that the developer has to do is look at these scenarios and make an application, correct? Very good. So first one is, are my requirements there? Oh yes, I have it here. And I'll just say catalog of this color. This is my requirement. Now, my requirement is great. Small team. I'm taking the requirement from the client, or someone's paying me $100 to do it. I'm now getting into the development. For my development, I have 5 user stories. I'm looking at this. Okay, I understand. Behind this, what has to happen? Behind this, what has to happen? And that's about 1. And then the user, end user, is going about executing our app. Now, any issues come up here, the user will have to go back to the developer, and the developer will say, oh, you know what, requirement wrong, or it's my own fault, and I'll correct it and so on. And hence, because of that came in QA in between, let me be the gatekeeper. I will do the quality assurance to tell that if everything is working fair or not. My stories are only 5 user stories or use cases, as we may talk about it in a very simple manner. But for the same 5 use cases, how much of QA effort do I need to put? And that comes with times, you know, our job being in QA, trying to break. We are focused on breaking. How do we want to break? Think of it like a bridge team. And the bridge's biggest purpose is there's one land here, there's another land here, there's a lot of water here, and you need to cross that bridge. And the only one who's as a gatekeeper is the QA. They already know how much of weight you can put as a load, how fast can you go, because we have tested it based on those norms. And we will say that if too many vehicles are going at the same time, then it will become slow. We will also mention that if you don't start it on time here, then it will not reach on time to the other end of the bridge. There's so many factors, and then we will say that bridge has to be maintained, this has to be doing this, and so QA forms that bridge between what a developer thinks the product need to be built and how the user has to get it in the end. So what we are trying to achieve in the space of QA is to be able to trying to break it. Will I put real human souls on the bridge and then try to break that bridge? No, team. We will try and use, simulate, emulate, or use dummies for this purpose. Only once I know that this is happening, we will slowly start releasing. So on a scale of, this being 0 and this being 10 of threshold, as we're getting towards 7, 8 mark, we should know we're reaching the limit, and that scale has to stop. We need to throttle at that point. So team, I want you to observe this from this perspective. For anyone beginning into IT, this should make a lot of sense. Now, the biggest thing is requirements can be hazy. Developer comes with a plan and starts executing. QA needs to ensure it won't break once the bridge is closed. QA hence needs to do a lot of simulating or test on a not live version. If I test on live version, your risks are higher. So for this, QA engineers follow a process, certain methodologies that we come with. We have set of tools, we have set of frameworks and more to help in our jobs. And AnyAUT is one of those tools. So once you talk about AnyAUT, you know what is testing, you know how automation basics are doing, you understand how we can write regression test suites and graded defect test execution. So this becomes important from your profile perspective. You're testing or I missed something here. From requirements to defect life cycle is key. Also, working in an agile. So team, that's about it from day one. I wanted you to execute this and understand the basic structure. The Excel sheet we will go through a little bit more. What's very important is to get you through into hands-on, make a few quick demos, and then you could participate, team, if you're interested in the other JPAC activities. Any questions that I can take for today? We have 4 more sessions that we will go through. By the end of it, you should be able to write and run new AnyAUT tests on any web app. Team, I'm open for questions. I have nothing from my end. I did lose one of the presenters who was trying to show something earlier. Anyone? All right, great. So team, please keep yourself tuned with the GoToWebinar. Any changes or schedule and so on will come there. I will send a Skype group shortly, everyone, maybe by tonight, so that you can all join that and start interacting in it. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Yes, team, we will go through HTML, CSS as well. The AnyAUT link, I believe I already shared in the chat. I'm putting it again in the okay. Thanks everyone. Take care. Bye now. See you. Thank you.